Hello and welcome back to KSP Real Solar System Campaign. Tatiana Tikhonová is well on her way towards Venus at the moment and is traveling through interplanetary space, being the first Kerbal to do so. At the moment I'm just trying to see what kind of course correction we should make towards Venus, and you can see we get our periaps pretty close to Venus there, just 15 million meters above the surface. But we can do even better, I think. Now, there is one big problem we are going to have on this mission, which is that you can already see that our trajectory while passing over Venus is not that great, and I don't really think I have enough delta V to make some big corrections to that. So that's going to be a bit of an issue once we start planning our return to Earth. So, but I'm going to try and see what kind of adjustments I can make to correct for that. The first course correction burn has now been planned out, and the maneuver node is going to be in 2 days and 11 hours. You can see that it will take us down to 206 kilometers above the Venus surface. Now the atmosphere of Venus starts at 145 kilometers, and we are going to dip a little bit into the atmosphere in order to aerobrake, but I don't think I can do too... I don't think the aerobrake can be too aggressive, because the heat shield really doesn't cover the back end of the spacecraft here, so it would be quite risky to do an aggressive aerobrake, especially considering how dense the atmosphere of Venus is. But we are going to do a little bit and then use the main engine to take us all the way into Venus orbit. But after a lot of experimentation with different maneuver nodes and course corrections, I couldn't find a solution to the problem that we're going to face when we pass over here. It's going to be a bit awkward to return to Earth with this kind of trajectory. But anyway, I did lower our periaps down to 121 kilometers. I don't think we can go much lower than that. The Venus atmosphere starts at 145 kilometers. So hopefully I'm not underestimating the density of Venus's atmosphere at this altitude. Although it is possible that I could be overestimating it, and that the aerobrake is not going to be very effective. And we are now, as you can see, approaching Venus, and we're going to do a quick round around the various scientific experiments here, although we have done most of them before, so I'm not sure. Actually, it might just be the crew report that is new. I don't think the other instruments... Well, yeah, already done most of the experiments. So, I'm gonna have one last look at some course corrections here to see what we can do. Tatiana is descending towards the atmosphere of Venus, which you can kind of see here. This glowing thing, I think it's the atmosphere. But anyway, we yep, there we have impact with the atmosphere, and we are pointed in the right direction. So we just need to start collecting the scientific experiments that we should be. And we won't have any connection with Earth at this point, so most of this, well, we'll have to just transmit it later on. So, but that's no big deal. So we'll just have to see. Well, we're not getting much of a heating effect at the moment, so yeah, I think we're gonna have to use the engine here to do most of the braking, because this, well, it's having a little bit of an effect on the apoapse or on our total velocity, but it's not that much. So yeah, we didn't get any heating effect either, so I'm just gonna have to point us in the opposite direction and then fire up the engine to go for orbit. And you can see the trajectory is starting to curve here, so we are getting closer to achieving orbit, and I'm also firing with my RCS just to utilize as much fuel as possible that we have on board here. Although this is chewing through our Delta V budget here, so which is not good, obviously, but we have no other choice than to make an orbit here. So yeah, it should get orbit any second now, I think. And we are going to go for the bare minimum of an orbit. So cut the engine there, and we have 965 meters per second of Delta V left now. And I went for this orbit because I don't want to use any more fuel than necessary to slow us down a little bit more with the RCS, but yeah, so we have a manned orbit around Venus right now. I'm just going to raise the periapse a little bit because we're not going to crash into Venus, certainly. With a successful but highly elliptical orbit, we are ready to start the exploration of Venus to collect all the scientific data that we need. Now, we also need to start thinking about the return to Earth, and Venus and Earth is going to have to be in the correct alignment, which means that Earth's phase angle is going to have to be around 36 degrees before we can start planning our return back. Another problem we are faced with is that we have very little Delta V left, just over 900 meters per second, plus a little bit of RCS, but I'd have certainly hoped that the Aerobrake would have saved us a lot more Delta V than we actually did. Tatiana is gonna have to spend a lot of time with this view, and it is not even guaranteed that we can return her back to Earth. It is certainly going to be a big challenge, and our resources are fairly limited. But that will be it for this episode of KSP Real Solar System Campaign. The flight itself to Venus was a success, but that does not mean that the mission as a whole will be successful. We still have the most difficult part of the mission ahead of us. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you will be around for the next video as well, where we will get the conclusion of Tatiana's journey to Venus. Will she return to Earth, or will she be trapped in space for all eternity? That remains to be seen. But until then, take care and bye.